Hi, how frustrating is it to have a deal that you were forecasting to close this month that ends up getting stuck in legal and procurement? Today, I have a couple of quick tips to help you use an Arrows plan to build momentum through those final checklist items and get your customers set up for successful onboarding. So, here inside of HubSpot, I'm looking at our sales pipeline. We have a couple of stages here which we're going to pay attention to. One, decision maker bought in. It's the final stage where the deal is sort of verbally agreed to, should be all ready to go, and we just have to complete the final legal and procurement process to get this over the line and closed one. So the first thing that I'm going to do is have that as a separate stage, and then when I move a deal to that stage, I'm going to have a workflow which is going to add an action plan for closing and implementation. And what this workflow is going to do is to add an Arrow's customer-facing action plan to the deal when it moves to this stage and copy the plan URL as a property so that we have it available. Now, when we open up our deal, we have this Arrows onboarding plan over on the right-hand side, which if we open this up, we can see that we're setting it up to make things move smoothly through the procurement process and on to a successful onboarding. So this first task is to add the people who are going to be responsible for signing and paying to make this deal close. And often these will be different than the people who are the champions on the deal to get this approved. So the first thing that we're going to ask for is the email address of the person who's responsible for signing, so somebody in legal, and the email of the person who's responsible for payment. So once these have been added, if I just add Sam at acme.co and let's say Sarah at acme.co, this will be assigned to the person who's currently our point person, so loop in the people that will need to complete these tasks. If I go ahead and submit that, I'm using a native Arrows form here. I can mark the task as complete and then move on to the next thing, which will be signing the contract. One thing that we can do once we have a customer or a prospect identify the people who are responsible for legal and payment is using those values synced from our plan to assign a task for our internal team to make sure that those people are in the loop and that they know they have a next step that they need to take. So we're going to use this deal enrollment trigger in a workflow of responsible for legal being known and responsible for payment being known, which will be synced in when that form is filled in. And then we're going to create an internal task for the deal owner down here, which is going to say assign those procurement tasks to the appropriate people. So using personalization tokens, we can pull in the email address of the person responsible for payment, responsible for legal, and the action plan where they need to go and update those values. That will mean that that procurement person and the legal person is now going to get notifications of the tasks. They're going to get direct links to go and take the action that they need to take to keep this deal moving forwards. Now that we have the information from that previous step of the email addresses, we could add those people to this plan directly so that they can both see what is the next step, which is signing the contract, followed by paying the invoice, but also the things that are going to come after that, which is going to ultimately result in the company receiving value from us to incentivize them to take those steps and move forward. It will also help identify, are there going to be blockers? Is there going to be a timeline that we need to stick to make this happen? And then lastly, in this stage, if I just go ahead, I'm going to mark these as complete just so that we can see what will happen next. The final thing that I would recommend is during the sales process, before this deal is closed, we're in these final stages, but is having the kickoff call for onboarding scheduled so that it's on the books to avoid the deal going dark, the person who needs to be on that kickoff call not knowing that it's going to happen, and to get us a quick start in the onboarding process. So getting that all kicked off before we close the deal is a great way to maintain momentum. Now, if I go back to the deal, you'll see that all that information about the progress that's being made in the plan is being updated here right on the deal so that everybody who's involved can see what's happening, can see what the next step is, and can take the appropriate actions to keep things moving forward. If this is helpful, let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.